liposuction, fat transfers, or BBLs, how to get those hourglass figures. You want an hourglass figure? We also get rid of these big bellies, those bellies that are hanging over the top, over your pants, restricting you. Those ones that you cover up with your pants because you don't want anyone to see the belly hanging over. We can get rid of that stuff like completely, and no tummy tuck, no cutting of the skin required, not necessary. This can all be done under local anesthetic. I mean, look at these amazing results. This is what's possible. And many of you may have gone to plastic surgeons who keep telling you the same thing. You have to get a tummy tuck. You have to get the skin cut away, or you have to be your ideal weight to get liposuction. It's all crap. These people are clearly not their ideal weight. Bad situations. They have loose skin. They had stretch marks. However, it still tightens up. It still can get good results. Not all is lost, except for the picture. Get that up here shortly. Not all is lost. So there's still potential for you. You still have the ability to make the changes that you want. And this is I think very, very exciting for many individuals out there who are looking for some type of change, and you want to transform your life. Because you know what, in the internet age now, we've seen, I mean, how many people have you seen that transform their lives, that take themselves from being big to being small, and they do this through all kinds of different ways, whether it's working out, through surgeries, through that lap band, through tummy tucks. I mean, people are doing this day in and day out. When is it going to be your turn? When is it your turn to transform your life? And now look, these are all opportunities, right? Liposuction, this is an opportunity for you to transform your life. It's like a catalyst. You have to make the changes. You have to choose to make these changes. You don't just end up on my table. It just doesn't happen. There has to be actions that get you there. You have to take that risk. Spend the money, because if you're not going to spend the money, you're not going to get the results. And clearly, this is not the first option. You should try other things. Try your diet. Try your exercise. Try other things, supplements, whatever you think, different diets. Try the stuff, because you need to know for your well-being, for your mental well-being, that you've tried everything. And now it's time to take massive action. And this is massive action. We can take out a huge amount of fat. A huge amount of fat, which makes this is what causes the change. You have to become the cause of the change instead of the recipient of change. How many of us out there, change happens. It's always happening. And some of us, we choose our change and we stay ahead of it. And other people, we get caught by change and we tend to be the victim, and the victims of life, the victims of situation, because we were unwilling to change. Because you know what, in many situations in life, there's what we call foreshadowing, or you can kind of see what's coming if you pay attention. But a lot of people don't want to pay attention. They're not, they're clueless. They got the shade over their eyes. They're straight zombie, and they're just, this is what I do, and hey, this is what I do, right? And they don't change. They're not willing to change. And then this is what happens, right? When you're not willing to change, you keep doing the same things that don't serve you. You get big. And this is just one situation in life. But in one situation in life, if you're not doing the right things in your diet, your exercise routines, and you're not living in your best interest, when you do this long enough, your body is keeping score. And you can't cheat it, you can't hide it. There's no easy way out. You have to pay the price. And you're either going to pay the price through doing some type of surgery, you're going to pay the price through doing a ton of exercises, or you're going to pay the price through diet. But either way, you're going to pay the price somehow. And there is no easy way. And it all is painful. Whether that's financial pain, whether that's physical pain, whether that's emotional pain, it's all painful. The process is not easy. But you can do it. And that's the key. That's the thing that's really exciting, is you can do it. And not only can you do it, we have lots of examples of individuals who were able to get these procedures and make the changes to their life that they wanted. And when you make the changes to your life that you want, it's exciting, it's fun, and not only that, you inspire those around you because people want to be just like you. They want to be just like you. You know, getting rid of these bellies is something that I think it's plagued women and it's men too. You know, let's not make this a sexist thing. It's plagued all humans, men and women, even kids now. In our society, the CDC says that we're having an obesity issue with our children. Upwards of 65% of people, adults, are considered obese now. And obviously there's varying degrees of obesity, but I have seen all the whole progression, and as they get larger, I see what happens to the body. And as I've been studying this, I've been studying obesity for years, right? Trying to figure out how I can solve this problem for you. And this is what I do. You know, I'm the Lipo superhero, you might say. I've worked so hard. This is my focus. This is what I am trying to do with my life work, is try to figure out how to, help you to look better. And I know it's not just about looks. And I know that because I've been doing this a long time, and I know that I speak to all my patients. I'm always asking them, why are you doing it? And there's a lot of people. This cosmetic thing is what I think that's the initial knee-jerk reaction that society wants to hear. So society wants to hear. So when someone says, "Oh, why are you doing this?" It's like, "Oh, because I'm going to lose my belly. I'm going to be skinny, and I'm going to look hot, and I'm going to be able to twerk, and whatever other things these girls are talking about." But the truth is, the real benefit is the underlying benefit that nobody sees. It's the ability to have a lower blood, right? So you have less strain on your heart. It's the ability to decrease your diabetic medication because now your body is able to better function properly. It's the ability to take off that weight, which gives you more energy to be more active, so you can live a healthier, longer life. These are the little things that nobody really talks about with liposuction, because everybody's so focused on this cosmetic situation where it looks a certain way and they're skinny, and it's like everybody likes to see that, because what in our society is seeing is believing. And it's not real unless you can see it, unless you can touch it. But the real changes here, they happen psychologically. And we may see the physical change, but I can promise you the real change is happening on the insides of these individuals. These individuals are getting the confidence that they've never had before. And that changes every cell in your body. Your intentions, your motivations, it changes all of the thought processes that you have about yourself. Because when you've looked at yourself a certain way in the mirror and you see yourself in a certain shape, you naturally form beliefs about yourself. And those beliefs about yourself is what holds you back, because they're limiting beliefs in most cases. People believe that they have a limit, and that whatever their perceived limit is that they can't go beyond that. Then at some point in your life, you realize that there's a glass ceiling. Like, you thought the ceiling was there. You were poking, you hit something. You thought there was a restriction there. You thought that there was a limitation. You thought that you couldn't get any better, but then you did, and it screwed up your whole thinking. This limiting thought process. Once you realize that it's possible to get that belly gone, then you'd be like, maybe it was possible to get the rest of the stuff gone too. Maybe it is possible to get into that bikini again, because many of my patients tell me, "Oh, I'm never going to bikini. That's not what I'm doing." Maybe it's possible. I don't know. What's in your cards? What's possible for you? The only way to find out what's possible is to take the risk. In anything, you have to take the risk. It's possible to get like this, but if you don't get the procedure, you'll never know. Maybe it's possible to do it losing weight. And maybe you do that and you find out, hey, it's not possible that way. Maybe it's possible to do it through a tummy tuck. And maybe that's what you decide. But you got to look for different options in your life for not only this, but it's like when you hit that proverbial wall, that speed bump, we'll say, that thing that stops you, whatever it is that stops you. When you hit that wall, it's either you make the choice and be like, okay, that's it, that's the limit, and you stop, or you decide, okay, this is a wall, and you climb over, or you turn around and you go a different direction. These are all analogies, obviously, but it's a matter of, in your mind, you have to make choices, and you have to do the things that are in your best interest, because the truth is nobody really cares what you do with your life. If you squander your life down to nothing, I'm sure your parents will care, but on the outside, no one else does. And I'm not trying to be mean about it, but you just got to be realistic. Nobody cares enough about me except for me. I'm sure none of you guys are going to go to the gym for me and do the workout for me because I wanted to get a six-pack. Nobody's going to do that for me. Nobody's going to go run those miles, burning the fat. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do all those push-ups. People aren't going to do those things for you. You're the only one. And so once you realize that you're the only one that can get you what you want, then there's no more excuses anymore. Because if you don't do it, then no one else will do it. So as soon as you get those excuses out of the way and you realize that it's your responsibility, that's when the action starts taking place. When you start doing the things then that are in your best interest. And so what does that mean? Right? What does that mean, doing the things that are in your best interest? So I know women in general, mothers, typically what they'll do is they will, what's the word I'm looking for? They will do everything for their kids, and they will prioritize their kids in front of everyone, including themselves. And when they prioritize their kids in front of themselves, they neglect. And that is how this kind of stuff happens. Because I'll tell you what, I've been healthy most of my life. I've gotten overweight a few times, but I always kind of skewed back to this, shall we say, an average, right? When I got heavy, I felt like, I felt heavy, so I'd go diet, I'd do that, I'd lose weight. And then when I felt light again, I would start eating more, and my habits would change, and I'd end up gaining weight again. So I've been there. However, I never allowed myself to get so far past this average that I got out of control. I just personally didn't allow that to happen. And I know that once you kind of get far enough away from that average, it starts to feel hopeless. And in many cases, people they give up, and it is what it is. I'm a fat chick, or I'm thick, or whatever the language is that you start using. So you start using specific language that makes it okay for you to be what you are. It's okay. I mean, that's what most people do. What's up, Stacy? See, Kat's here, Susie's here answering questions. Danielle said, can't wait to come back and do my tummy and lower back. Exciting. What's up, Ashley Brown? Lisa, Stephanie. Okay. Let's see if we have any comments there. Now, I'm sure that many of you have, if you've been doing any research at all, you've gone to places, and these doctors, these plastic surgeons are generally telling people that you have to be your ideal weight. Man, that, you can't even see their underwear. It's hanging over so far. And it's like big ball of fat. Nobody wants to work that hard, except for me, apparently. It's not easy getting this fat off of people, and you'll find that when you come to me and you realize how difficult this actually is, you'll have a better appreciation. And my hope is that those of you who have had the procedure, you got to share more. share your experiences, because not everybody has the same experience, and the reasoning behind that is everybody's different. So people tolerate things different. They, afterwards they heal different. Their bodies are different. So it's impossible for us to predict with any certainty anything in our lives, right? Because there's so many uncertainties. But the thing is that once you see that this kind of stuff is possible, it becomes more of like a numbers game. And even though not everybody gets it like this, even if say 60, I mean, it's not even 60, it's closer to like 85 to 90% of people, maybe even more, are getting these type of results. Now there's going to be a small portion of people that it just is what it is, that their body wasn't made for this, or they have issues of such. Everybody's anatomy is a little bit different, so sometimes just by visually looking at it, is say, oh yeah, we can definitely do this, and you look just like this person, but then we get in there, and sometimes the fat's extremely difficult to get out. Sometimes it's extremely painful for the patient, and they don't numb up very well. These are things that could possibly limit. It's possible. However, there's a whole host of people, so many women who have got these incredible, amazing, life-changing results, and they've taken it and they ran with it, and they've changed their lives. I mean, if you can't imagine what's possible for an individual who changes their life like this, like to go from being asked every day, hey, how far along are you? Or when's your pregnancy? When do you do? To go from that to being like, is this girl a stripper? Or, maybe a model, right? I mean, to be asked, questions that are on a totally different playing field, it throws the mind for a loop, because when you're so used to being, like put down, it's really odd when all of a sudden people are like, wow, like look at you in a totally different light, and you start wondering, like, why did that happen? And how did that happen? I just took a little bit of fat off of me, but yet everybody else sees me completely different. And this is where the magic kind of happens here. It's that once we change your body, see, not only can you will never be able to see yourself the same way, but nobody else will see you the same way. What's up, Elsie Salazar? Elsie got some. We've got Elsie's pictures up here somewhere. She's got some amazing results. But once other people start seeing you differently, then that is when they start treating you differently. And when they start treating you differently, that's when the psychology, the confidence starts kicking in. When people start treating you differently, it's like a whole different ballgame. It's like instead of getting bullied, all of a sudden you're the one that people want to be around. You're the one that people want to be closer to. You're the one that's getting those invites. You're the one that you get opportunities. It's weird, this life, this world, how this works. But when people see you, they judge, and it happens, and we all like to say, oh, don't judge, you shouldn't do that, or it's rude, or whatever. But all that's completely bullshit nonsense, because we all judge. There's no way to get around it, none, and it happens at a subconscious level. And so as long as you might think you're not judging people, but you always do anyways. You're going to tell yourself, because you're a upstanding person, that you're not judging anyone around you, but the truth is you already did, and you already made decisions based off of those judgments, and it was all done at a subconscious level. What's up, glorious woman? South Carolina, I love hearing from you. You're one of my biggest fans here on YouTube. Say I'm watching from YouTube. You always curious to see what your body looked like. Oh, to see what my body looked like. See, then you saw on Instagram, you look great. I have changed, absolutely. Hey, I don't claim to, like this is some magical thing that you have to do. No, I've done this myself. All of these things that I talk about, I've done myself. I've been the guinea pig for all of this stuff. I've tested the different diets. I've tested the different supplements I've done, all these different habits that I talked to you about. The only reason I speak so much about these habits is that they have not only worked for me, but they've been incredible. And what habits am I talking about? I'm talking about, this is the simple foundational habits of your life. You got to drink enough water. You got to move enough. And what does movement mean? It means whatever that means. Movements could be running, it could be walking, it could be playing soccer, it could be playing basketball, it could be walking your dog, it could be anything, but it's just move. You got to get out and move more and stress your body out, because if you don't use it, you lose it. You got to sleep. You got to get good sleep. And you know what I'm finding, because I started tracking my sleep, but what I'm finding is that if you don't track it, you have no idea. No idea. I used to think I got 8 hours of sleep every night, which is total crap, because I spent more than 8 hours in bed. But as I come to find out from tracking it, it's not all hours of sleep. When in fact, I was actually awake for upwards of an hour and a half in the time that I was in bed. So that means that in order to get 8 hours of sleep, I actually had to be in bed for 9.5 hours. And so I wasn't thinking that. And then, you know, some people might realize this, that some days they get to bed on time, whatever on time is for them. They get to bed on time thinking that they are going to get a good sleep, only to find out the next morning they're like dragging, they're depleted, they haven't gotten the rest that they needed. And so what I've learned from my experience from tracking is that we have disturbances throughout the night. And maybe that's getting up to go to the bathroom, maybe it's your partner snoring, maybe your dog barked, or in my case, I have a little 6-year-old daughter that comes into our bed and and when it tries to disturb us. But the point is that there's disturbances throughout the night, so you're going to not be sleeping the entire time. And then when you have disturbances, it throws off the whole cycle. And now, why is this important? Because there's 4 different cycles. And the restorative sleep is cycle 3 or stage 3. Then you have the REM sleep, which is where we do the dreaming, both of which are important for the cognitive function of the brain and the consolidation of memories. So if you don't get enough time in these 2 stages of sleep, then you're going to feel not rested and you're going to feel cloudy brained. Now, this happens to a large portion of people, I'm guessing. A large portion of people. All of you who are drinking coffee every morning because you can't get out of bed, or you're dragging the whole day, it's because of sleep. And instead of solving the problem, you're just like, here, let me put a Band-Aid on it. I'm gonna drink some coffee so I have this perceived energy to get me through the day. Then you crash, and then you go through another night, and typically the caffeine makes it so you don't sleep as well. So it's a perpetual ongoing issue. Not only are people don't drink enough and they're chronically dehydrated, but they don't sleep well, so they have a chronic sleep deficit. And then it's like, imagine these people are walking around, they're dehydrated, they're cloudy brained, and they're tired and exhausted. It's like they're zombies just walking around, and you wonder why you can't function. You wonder why you can't rise. You wonder why that person's able to do it, but you can't do it. And it's just little stuff. Get your sleep, get your water, get your movement. Basics. Another big thing, these are all foundational habits, foundational things. The food that we eat, the environment that we're in, we are all being exposed to toxins, and we are exposed to the toxins through the food, we're exposed to toxins through chemicals that we put on our body, whether it's lotion, sunblock, makeup, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, any material or chemical-based product that we put on our body is a potential toxin. The food that we eat is exposed to heavy metals. The vegetables and things were sprayed by weed killers and things of that nature, that these are all toxic to humans. Even the water, our drinking water, our tap water is toxic. Now, I'm sure many of you are aware of a lot of these things, so it's not a big surprise to you. However, who's taking all of the precautions to avoid and protect yourself from these different toxins? And then take it one step further, Once you've decided how to block and protect yourself from the toxins, how do you get them out of your system, what you already have? So this is where detoxing comes in. This is huge, huge. And most people aren't paying attention. Instead, you're getting sick, your body's not functioning properly, and it's shutting down. And you'll start to see this in the 30s and 40s and 50s, where people start having, the high blood pressure, their diabetes, their heart disease. All this stuff is a build up of lifestyle problems. It's a build up of lifestyle problems that you've blindly walked through life because it hasn't been that bad until it is. And then when it is, it's too late. In most cases. Or it's really, really hard. So at this point in your life, you may not be able to make things perfect as if they never happened again. However, you can start taking steps in the right direction that resolve some of the problems or some of the issues that are now causing health problems in your life. And now what I said is not that bad until it is. When it gets so bad that you're having health issues and limitations, when it gets that bad, it's a lot more difficult to change. But the change happens to you. You don't really have a choice at that point. You're getting sick, and your life is going to change for the worse. Okay. Before you get to that point, we call that prevention. And you can take actions to prevent things in your life. And if you want to live a better life, you can. It's simply a choice. It's simply a choice. And all of us, we get choices in our lives. And many of us, take the opportunity to make those choices. And other people, they just glide right through. It's like the river of life, and they're just kind of flowing through. You can make the changes or you can not make the changes. Either way, life moves forward. Now, at some point, what I've noticed is my patients is they come against this time in their life where they're like, enough is enough, and I'm done doing this. And it's not going to be something that if you can't accept it anymore, you won't accept it. But as long as you keep telling yourself you should change, or I should lose weight, that means you're still accepting it. You've still accepted it in your life. And then once you accept it, it'll continue to come at you. But as soon as you reject and say, this is it, no more, I can't live like this anymore, I got to change everything. As soon as you decide that, you do. And you start changing. The actions need to start rolling in behind that. The decision and then actions. You got to start making big actions. And whether that's, right now, if you have the money to get big change, then you should do it. If you don't have the money, then you start making the little changes. You start making your foundational. You change your diet. You start detoxing. You start exercising. You're moving more. You start, drinking more water. These are the foundational things. If you can do those things right, you're going to start getting better. You're on the right track. See, liposuction is good. Even the men are getting it. I've had liposuction, and it makes a big dramatic change. I'm so happy. I had my full abdomen done, and I had my chest treated. I had these little man boobs before I didn't like. So your husband's out there, your friends, they want to get some fat sucked off of them. Guys, girls, it don't matter. Fat is fat. What's up, Yesenia, Juanita, Joseph, Jess, Lynette. So I appreciate everybody for jumping on today. If you have any questions, you're interested at all in changing your life, this is, liposuction, it's not the first option. This is not the first thing that you jump to, but the individuals who come to me, they've tried other things. They've tried losing weight. They've tried, exercising. And in many cases, what I find is they do this, what I call them is yo-yo diets. So you'll lose enough weight to feel a little bit better about yourself, just a little bit. And then when you feel better about yourself, it's that you get a little lax on how hard you're willing to work for what you want. And once you get a little bit lax, you start gaining that weight slowly back. So it's like you lose weight, you gain weight. You lose weight, you gain weight. And it's like a vicious cycle in your life. Now, I'm speaking from experience. This is the way I did things. Um, and I speak to a lot of people that seem to be doing the same thing. And I know it wasn't until I finally made a decision, because I was dieting and trying to lose weight, not because I wanted to be healthy, just because I wanted to be a certain number. You know, I was chasing a number on the scale. I wanted to be a certain weight because that certain weight meant something to me. And the truth is, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a number. And when you feel good about yourself, when you're strong, you're healthy, and you feel good, that number doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, sweetheart, 300,000 or 3 million. I say, why when you try different things, it don't help with weight loss and you gain it all back? Well, the reason why people slide back is because they weren't committed 100% to the change. Because if you're committed to the change, then you continue moving forward, which means that you stick to whatever. And this is my problem that I never did. Is as soon as I felt comfortable, I didn't stick to it, and I gained the weight right back. So I think that it's a commitment. It's a decision that you need to make, that this is it. I'm not going to live this life anymore. This unhealthy life. I can't live this anymore. And once you make that decision that a must is a must, that you got to do it, then you start making the necessary changes. But more importantly, it's you have to do stuff that will stick, that you can sustainably do. So that doesn't mean going on a diet where all you eat is oranges all day long, just oranges. You're gonna lose a lot of weight, but it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So eat healthy foods, and I don't think anybody is getting fat from eating too many vegetables, too many greens. I just don't hear about it. And I eat as much as I want. I'm full all the time, and I like it. It tastes good. So eat more of the stuff that's good for you and less of the stuff that's bad for you, and you're on the right track. You can call that diet the My Shape Lipo diet. You just have to eat healthy, right? Eat organic. Now, I try to make things like so simple. It's so easy. I try to, conceptually, if I can make it easy for you, then you're more likely to do these things. But the truth is, there's more detail, and your body in particular is going to be a little bit different than someone else's body. So as you advance in your life and you learn how to eat certain ways, you're gonna have successes and you're gonna have failures. You're gonna have situations that work really, really well for you, and you're gonna do more of those things. And then you're gonna find things that don't quite work so well, don't make any difference at all, and you cut those out. And so then it's just essentially getting laser being focused on the things that actually work for you, and putting more attention into the things that work for you and less attention into the things that don't work for you. And that's life. You just keep rolling. You just keep putting more attention to the things that help and less in the things that don't, and then you're gonna slowly, it's like this, you're gonna slowly improve, slowly increase, slowly getting better. And next thing you know, just like in doing the bad things and you forget about it for a decade, and all of a sudden you have diabetes or high blood pressure, just like that, if you continue on a good path for a decade, all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you're like, holy crap, what has happened? Who is this person? You don't even recognize them anymore. What's up, Rebecca? Rebecca's one of those people. She's been doing her habits and changing her lifestyle for a few years now. And I'm super proud of her. She's actually coming back now for her thighs. We've already treated her midsection. She had 360 with the BBL. And she also had her arms, her underarms, and her chin. And now she's coming back for her legs. So it's going to be full body liposuction. And I was really, really happy for her when I saw her pictures for this consult for her thighs, because she was significantly smaller than last time I saw her, significantly. And I know she's talked to me about treating these thighs in the past, and I had a different opinion because she was larger, and now she was smaller, and so it allowed me to have a different opinion. Right, this judgment that we all say, we all do, everybody judges, right? So I had a different judgment. I saw something different, and I made a different decision. And it's exciting. You look where she came from, and where she is now, and it's something that I think is inspiring for everybody, because we all want to live our best life. We all want to be the best version of ourselves, and you know, maybe you're there, maybe you're almost there, maybe you're kind of just right on the cusp, or maybe you're really far from it. And when you see somebody else that has been pushing their life to the next level and taking every step that is necessary to get them to where they want to be, that's inspiring. That's motivating. Because when you see that someone else has done it, you know, because psychologically you know, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, on some level. You may have some, you know, limiting thoughts about yourself, but on some level, you know that if that person can do it, then it is absolutely possible for you. Let's see, Celine. All right, Celine, they cut off your question, the proverbial they. Can someone get Lipo 360 if they have I'm gonna say, you're talking about the hernia in the front, diastasis recti, I'm guessing. But if you can write it in there. So yes, what I found is, you know, none of my when you go to a plastic surgeon, they tell you every time you need a tummy tuck, and you need a tummy tuck because we need to sew up your muscles, because the muscles are, every time you get pregnant, your muscles are trashed, is what they want people to believe. But the truth is far from that. Most people don't need that. Many of my patients, you can see, even the larger ones, they don't have that issue. And these are all mothers, all of them, every single one of them. Well, maybe not every single one of them, but I would say a good 98% of them are mothers. And they all have the same issues, right? You all go through the same thing. And, you know, granted, everyone's a little bit different, but ultimately the potentials are all the same once you have pregnancies. It tears your body up. You know, you got issues with loose skin, stretch marks, weakness in the muscles. All of you women, not all of them, but you know, a lot of you will have the same issues just because you've been through the same stuff. That's why I highly recommend, if you haven't been on our private Facebook group, My Shape Lipo support group, it's on Facebook, and you know, if you want to see people who have actually gotten the procedure and who have actual results, and you can communicate directly with them, the group is a phenomenal opportunity. So check out the private Facebook group, and when you're ready, you know, you want pricing, you're curious, the first step is to check out our on our website, myshapelipo.com. We have a quick quote, and the quick quote allows you to get instant pricing without contacting anybody. You can get it right now while we're speaking. Once you got that pricing, now you have an idea of what the price is going to be. The next step is you need to get a formal consultation, so you need to speak with me directly. I want to see pictures. I want to speak with every person who intends to get a procedure with me. I want to speak to them before the procedure. Make sure that we're on the right page, make sure that we're making the right decision, and we're moving forward with the right plan. See, Alma's asking about Tati's Pro. You know, it's funny how, you know, she claims that she had horrible results, but if you get horrible results, why do you go to the same place 3 times? It just doesn't make sense. She came to me 3 separate times to have her procedures, and the results were good every time. So, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And besides that, I mean, look at her. She looks good. You know, she's an influencer who makes money on drama, and that's apparently what she's doing. She's got you guys fooled. She told me her whole plan while she was doing it. She's got all you guys fooled, because she's doing nothing but drama, and she's laughing all the way to the bank. And you guys are believing it. You believe it's real, but okay. But you know, look. Don't believe her. Don't believe anyone else. Don't believe me. go to the group, and you can talk to real people. You know, and here's the thing, even if let's just say that she did get bad results. That's one person. Okay, you're not that one person. Let's say another person got it. That's fine. You're not that person. It's a different person, different potential every time. So even though like I tell these people, you got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt. You might look at these pictures and be like, "Oh, I look just like that person. So my results are going to be exactly like that." Not true. Not true. She's different than you. It's totally different. So if you're going to, judge other people, the results that they get, you just have to realize that you're not that person, and it's not even likely that you're even close to them. So I just try to tell people that, take it with a grain of salt. Even if you see awesome results, it doesn't mean you're gonna get it. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Okay, thank you so much. I will get an instant quote. You're welcome. Stacy, there's just drama. Oh, whoops. Okay. Stacy, don't get caught up in the drama. Okay, Patricia says, I have a quick question. Do you do breast lifts? So we don't do breast lifts. We do fat transfer to the breasts. Now, fat transfer is a really good procedure for those individuals who have lost volume. And like my wife, for example, she had 3 kids, breastfed all 3, so they got big and then shrunk. Got big and shrunk. Got big and shrunk. And then after she was done breastfeeding, after the 3rd baby, they were like pancakes. They were flat. And she wasn't that endowed to begin with. So, and I know this doesn't happen with everybody. Some women, it's like they get pregnancies and they blow up and they never get small. But some girls, they get these pancake breasts, or deflated. So, she had nice breast. My wife, she had nice breasts before, and then it was good shape, and then they just got deflated. So we did a fat transfer, and it inflated the breast. Now, whenever I do a fat transfer to the breast, I'm also filling up towards the top. So it gives a lifting effect. So the breast you'll have more volume up top. So like when you're doing your push-up bras, you can create that cleavage up here. We just add more volume up here, so you got more to work with. Now, so those individuals that are reinflation of the breast, fat transfer is excellent. Now, what about those women who had big breasts before and they're like hanging down? So they're like hanging down to their navel. Those are the individuals that perhaps, and I don't honestly, I don't recommend doing the lift, because I don't like any of the cutting stuff, and they cut your nipple out, and it really, there's no way for them to get it back to looking normal again. So I don't particularly like it. However, having those big pendulous breasts are probably a pain in the butt as well. So I would, you have to choose, right? This is a choice that each individual has to make, and there's pros and cons. There's good parts to it and there's bad parts to it. So, you have to make the choices, because it's your life and you're the one that has to live with it. Let's say you choose a breast lift, and then afterwards you realize that, oh crap, they had to cut my nipple out, so I had this weird ass looking nipple. And then they had to cut the skin. It's called an anchor scar. So they have a vertical cut and a horizontal cut, and they try to bring everything together. So you got like upside down T. And some people afterwards are like, oh my God, this is horrendous. And not only that, when they pull everything back together, it's damn near impossible to make it look like a real breast again. It's not going to happen. You cut away all the tissue and everything that makes it look normal, has a normal shape, that teardrop shape. It's almost impossible to make that. The only way they do that and makes it look halfway decent is if they put implants in there, and then you have the problem with implants. So look, choices are yours, but you just got to know pros and cons of everything before you make decisions. Okay, let's see. Patricia said that's my issue, and I'm 52. Is that too old? No, 52 is not old. I just had I had a patient this last week. She was 74, and she was a previous patient of ours. She's had liposuction 4 times now over the years. 74 years old, and she takes it like a champ. It was easy for her, and I was talking to her about how some individuals in their 40s and 50s trying to claim that liposuction, that they're too old for liposuction, and she echoed my belief that age is just a number, that it's a matter of biological health that's more important. If you're healthy, then it doesn't matter if you're 75 years old. If she's healthy, she can handle it. And you know, but there's some 40-year-olds that are unhealthy and biologically older than those 70-year-olds. So no, age is just a number to me. And I advise you to, you know, think the same, because when you realize that no matter how old you are right now, you can always be healthier. You can always work harder to improve. And as you improve, your biological age improves as well. Let's see, I've seen the photos. I thought the scars went away after time. So Patricia, go to the group and talk to some of the people. Like, I personally had the procedure, and I can't find. I mean, I have some scars from my procedure, and I mean, they fade away to next to nothing on me at least. And it's been 15 years, so it's been a long time. But everyone's different, you know. No one can promise you everything for everyone. It's not going to happen. Some people are going to scar really, really well, and other people not so much. And I can't predict who it's going to be. Neither can you. So what we can do is, when you have a scar, there's treatments for it. You know, when you have that problem, there's things that you can do to try to reduce the problem. You know, there's things that I do personally during the procedure to try and reduce the amount of scarring, and I do the best that I can. But you know, here's the issue. Here's the problem. You guys, so you can understand what we're doing and why people are getting what they get. So when we do liposuction, we have this cannula. I use my finger, right? And this cannula is going to go in this hole. So we're going under the skin into this hole. So when this holes they're circular in nature. So it's going in, goes in, and it goes in thousands of times, right? So I'm doing liposuction, I'm jamming fast, and it's going in thousands of times, and it creates a friction. Every time it goes in, there's friction. And so when it causes friction, just like anything else, you're gonna get, you know, friction burn. So I'm aware of this, I know this, and when you get friction burns, it tends to have bigger scars, it swells up, it's not as nice looking. So for a few years now, quite a few years now, I've been using this lubricant jelly. So we put jelly right at the base of the skin, so when the instrumentation goes in, it slides on the skin as opposed to creating friction burns. So that has made, in my opinion, a big dramatic change for the scars. But even with that, we still have the issue. So I haven't solved the problem yet. I'm still looking for solutions. I'm still trying to improve, and I'm open for ideas. I mean, if you guys have any ideas, I do the best that I can. But I mean, it's a problem that's not unique to me. I'm not the one. It's not like I'm doing something that causes this. This is a industry issue, and you know, some of the things that other doctors have done. The plastic surgeons, what they do is they'll do an incision with a scalpel, and then because it's the shape of the incisions, because it's a horizontal incision, they have to then close it up with sutures. Now, maybe that scar is better. However, when you have to close it up with sutures, it doesn't allow for the body to drain out the fluid. When it doesn't drain out the fluid, they have to put drains in there. And so a drain is essentially a tube that's left inside, and then it sucks the fluids out. And it works mildly well. And it's a pain in the butt. When you have sutures, then you have to come get those sutures taken out in 7 days to 2 weeks. So, you know, there's pros and cons to everything. You know, I've made choices for the way that I've done my practice, and so some of those consequences will fall onto the patients. But, you know, there's no 100% for anything. There's no like 100% solution where everything's going to be perfect. It's an imaginary world that you might be thinking it doesn't exist. Even when we get these amazing results, there's still room for improvement. There's still things that could have been done better, or we wish we would have been improved, or whatever the case. Stacy's suggesting biotin oil will take the scars away. You know, there's a couple products on the market. Mederma is one of them. So that's one of the like medical grade, really, really expensive stuff. I don't recommend it, but it's the brand that recommends. You know, that's popular. But there's other products that are similar to Mederma. And my understanding, the essentials of the scar is that it's a hydration. So the Mederma is essentially like a hydrating patch that you leave on the scar. So in line with a hydration patch, there's other companies that make similar type stuff. Patricia, you like that I'm honest and upfront. Well, who would like to deal with an unhonest or dishonest person, right? But yet we all do, right? You go to those people that are like, they blow smoke at you and make everything's perfect. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna be beautiful, the most amazing ever. We never make mistakes. That would be great, right? But it's not true. It's not true. You know, every patient is it's like a new situation. We have to perform on everything. We have to, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and it's a performance every time, and we have to nail it, everything in a row. And there's specific things that we do to make sure that we get the type of consistent results that we get. Because I've seen with other practitioners, they don't have that consistent flow, that consistent patterns that they do. You know, their routine, there is no routine. They just do liposuction, and everybody's a little bit different, and they make the stuff up each time is totally different. They're flipping, flopping patients back and forth, and there's no consistency. And that's why they don't get the results consistently. If you can't do these procedures consistently, then how can you expect to get the results that are consistently? So that's kind of what I've been working on for better course of a decade now, a little over a decade, is building my habit, my protocol, and consistency, so we can get these results and get them consistently. You know, when I started working on larger patients, it was a little scary. It's a little overwhelming. You know, I know these are the patients that have been turned down from other doctors because those doctors were scared. And when I heard that they were scared, it was like, that's what really would turn me on, because I'm like a no fear guy. I don't want to, it's not that I don't have fear. I feel it, I experience it, but I go straight at it. And these big challenges, they excite me and they challenge me to perform beyond what I've done in the past. And when I see the opportunities, you know, one person might look at this and be like, oh my God, it's so scary. I'm like anxious and worried. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be incredible. This is going to be the opportunity for me to present and show what is actually possible. Because we've been told that these things aren't possible. We've been told that you have to be your ideal weight, or you had to get a tummy tuck, and it's just nonsense. And I'm so sick of hearing this crap that people like you get you know, sucked in with the lie. And we've been lied to in so many parts of our lives. And especially right now, I think people are waking up and realizing that we've been lied to by the government, by the schools, by our employers. I mean, we've been lied to by everybody. Okay, except for this guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's not easy, but the results are freaking amazing. They're amazing. And we're pretty damn consistent. It's not perfect. It's not 100%. It's pretty damn consistent. Okay. Patricia says, no, I was speaking on the lollipop nipple, on the breast lift photos referring to that. Oh. Yeah, the lollipop nipples. Those, any of the cutting stuff, I mean, if you want to get a good, to me, honestly, it's fun. I go look at other doctors' results and see what kind of stuff they're putting out there. And it's amazing that some of these people put out these crappy results. And I can't believe they put that in public for people to see. but to them, that's considered good. So just beware of who you're going to. I had a patient last week that went to Mexico when she was younger, and the reason why she went when she was like in her 20s, and now she's 40 something, and she went to Mexico for full body liposuction, BBL, breast lift, and like thank God she got out alive. Because there's lots of people that go and do these cheap liposuction, cheap cosmetic procedures, and they get taken advantage of, particularly in these countries that just don't have the regulations. And granted, regulations are a pain in the ass. And honestly, if I had the opportunity to go practice in Mexico, I might actually take that opportunity. I'd love Mexico, and I would like to not have the BS regulations that the United States has. But in a way, it's protecting, and it holds a standard that's higher than they would have in other countries, because they don't have to have that standard. Many people do things because they have to do them, not because they're the right thing to do them. And which is something that I personally, I do things because I believe it's the right thing to do, and it's the best thing to do, and I want to get the best possible results. So I do things that are in the best interest of the patients. Now, there's lots of doctors that do things that are in the best interest for themselves, like I'm going to make more money here, or whatever the case. When you have patients coming in from out of country and you're doing stuff in like Mexico or Colombia, it's a lot of, in many cases, those things are like mills, and it's a numbers game. So if it's cheap for you, it means that it was cheap for the other 10 people that are also sitting on the bench ready to go next. And so the way that they make their money is by doing the higher volume of patients. And especially when you're cutting corners and you're trying to do things cheaply, when you have you throw in a higher volume with that, and it's a recipe for disaster. Okay, Rachel says, wish you guys were in Florida. Florida's awesome. I'd like to be there too. I'd like to be a lot of places all at once. Omnipresent, that's where I want to be. Okay. It's so sad, right? Patricia's saying most people are dishonest. And it's so sad. Who wants to work with a dishonest person, or someone that you consider might be dishonest? Who wants to work with that? I think all of us in general, we want to work with people that we trust. And I know that you're not going to spend your money with me if you don't trust me, if you don't believe I'm a good person, if you don't believe I'm trying to do the right thing, then you're not going to spend your money with me, and that's fine. I need to earn this stuff. I'm earning the business by working hard for it. I'm earning the business by telling the truth. I'm earning my business by getting consistent results. That's how I do this. What is the recovery time on lipo? Obviously, Patricia, is going to depend a little bit about what you do. You may have different limitations based off of what you do. So, for example, if you work with your hands, like hair salon or makeup or whatever, and you're treating your arms, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Moving with the arms, it's a little more challenging. But if you got your waist done, you'd probably be back at it in a couple days. After the procedures, you're going to have swelling, bruising. You're going to be draining some fluid for the first few days. So while it is possible to get back to most work fairly quickly, our statistics show that most people report that they're able to get back to sedentary type work within 3 to 5 days. Now, I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek because I had the procedure, and I drove myself home. It's a no-no. And I went right back to work the next day. And I didn't wear the compression long enough. So it's like I personally broke all the rules. And it was possible. I did it. Okay, this is the way I do things in my life. I break a lot of rules, but I break them to get. I go like a direct path at things, and it's good for some, bad for others. But some people will be able to get back to doing things very, very quickly, and other people it might take them a lot longer. So in most cases, the people will typically understand and know what they are capable of as an individual. Because liposuction is not, it's going to make you sore, it's going to make you achy afterwards, it'll slow you down, but it's not going to stop you unless you allow it to. In most cases. Clearly there's going to be outliers. Okay, Debbie Gross says, do menopausal women have the same success as younger women? That's a good study. It's a good study. I have no idea. Obviously menopausal and older women, they have different issues per se, but I don't know that, because every individual is different. What if you have nice, tight, firm skin, and you're 50 years old and it's way tighter than someone who's in their 30s, or, so everybody's different. And just because you're older doesn't make you, less potential necessarily, but what makes you less potential is when you have these physical issues. So, say for example, some women have 5-6 kids, barely any stretch marks, no big deal. Some women have 1 kid and have shredded stretch marks all over the place, legs, thighs, arms, like everywhere. 1 baby, and it shreds and tears their body up. I don't know why. What makes them different? I don't know. But it is what it is, and they clearly have a different potential based off of who they are, what they are. It is what it is. So, getting back to work, whether you're menopausal, I think everyone has a potential for being great. Okay. Liz Toro Rivera, do you guys have a recovery room where they massage you after, or no? So we don't, it's not part of My Shape Lipo. There's a recovery house here that we can recommend you to. If you choose, those of you who come from out of state, if you choose not to stay at the recovery house, or you do want, if you want to get massages, she's available for that as well while you're here. We also have a post-op, it's like kind of like a compression suit. It does lymphatic type therapy, but it's a suit. You wear this thing, it compresses and gets you circulating. So we have that at the office, but we don't do the massages at our office. That's cool. How much is that? I know it's a separate charge. Okay, Liz. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what her prices are. But when you schedule the procedure, we connect you with these things. We put it all together for you. But it's I'm sure she's charging whatever a reasonable rate is for that stuff. And I know what's reasonable, right? These massages are not cheap. The garments are not cheap, and they're not cheap to us. Yeah, it is what it is. This is always good. I love seeing pictures of Audra. Audra is one of those people that she had more, even though you see the physical, she had such a psychological change with this procedure, and she took it so seriously, and she held herself accountable. And she was one of those people that has had unbelievable success, and not only the success in her life, which she says she's making more money, she got another job, she's moving her way up. She's moving up on purpose, and she's doing it because all of a sudden she's got this confidence that she can do anything. And it's like I speak these things, and you might say, well, yeah, that's bullshit, we can do anything. She took it and believed me. She believed me. And when you believe, she acted as if it was real. And it is. Just because she believed it. And she kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And now, Audra's like, she just called me the other day, and she's telling me how she was able to, change jobs, and she's doing, like, financially, she's doing substantially better. And she's just got all this energy, and she's just motivated. And it's like, once you get one success, that success gives you a little bit of confidence. You get another success, and it gives you a little more confidence. But once you start rolling, and you get success after success, you start stringing them together. That's when your life gets really exciting. All right, we're gonna close this up here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you for taking the time. And right now, before you get off this, jump over to our website and you can get the quick quote, instant quote. It's super easy. Once you get the quote, you can then sign up for your formal consultation, because now it's time to go to business. Once you start taking action to change your life, it's just a matter of time. These individuals that you see behind me, there was no tummy tuck, but they took action. And that's why they got the results that they got. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be back later this week.